Hi,
Hi.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Now I can.
Okay, good. It's so nice to meet both of you.
Nice to
Hi.
meet you too. Hi, Jessica.
Hi. Nice to meet both.
Yes. Sorry, my husband's in the background doing some work.
That's all right. I don't mind having anyone in the background. I'd rather see
Okay.
people in the background than to see no face. I hate looking at
Okay.
I hate looking at black squares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
So
know.
I'm happy to see him. So how are you guys feeling after the first day? Okay.
Good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, okay. You realize some of the things you were eating that are healthy that, we're cutting out the first week. It's
Right.
the
So,
first day
I mean, that's
was,
the thing, and I'm going to talk about this a lot on the call,
yeah.
but um, the foods that you're cutting off these first 10 days are not unhealthy at all. They are all allowed in my plan. They're all allowed in life. But for these first 10 days, it's a really good way just to reduce inflammation. So
Mhm.
that's why we do it. So then we start with a blank slate and we start
Right.
fresh, and you can have more success as we add. I'm going to add other people into the room. Hold on one second.
I'm going to go grab my workbook. I left it in the other room. I'll be right
Of course, sure. Pam,
Hi,
how are you?
good.
Good. You're in the car. Are you at
I
a soccer
am.
game?
One thing after another, yes.
Oh, I know. I get it. Hi, Tara. Oh, she's gone. Hey, Nicole. Just gonna wait a few more minutes for more people to join.
Wait, I'm back.
Oh, hi, Tara.
Can you hear me?
I hear you, but I don't see you. Are you hiding?
I am hiding.
That's fine. I already know what you look like. It's okay.
Yeah, everyone else doesn't need to know what I look like. I'm fine.
Yes, they do. It's
I'm
so
a-
much better to see everyone's face, even if you have kids crawling all over you. It's okay.
Awesome. Okay, you can have some more. You can get it. You want to get it? How many people are you thinking will join?
Well, right now I have 8, and
Oh, okay.
we'll see.
Awesome. Awesome.
Can
Well,
you
you look
see
good.
everyone on your end, Tara?
No.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
No, I do.
Yeah, I just see
Sorry, I'm
Tara
talking so
and
much like it's just me and you.
I
Oh, no,
just
it's not just you and me. So be careful what you say.
I see me and Tara, but
That's
I
it.
don't know if I'm muted.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll wait a few more minutes and see who else joins. I mean, there are 30 people in the challenge, so I know some people aren't able to come. But we'll see how many more people will join in the next few minutes. And just so you know how I'm going to go through this, I'm going to just do a quick introduction about myself, if you don't know me, and I'm going to say why I'm running this, tell you why I'm running the challenge and what I hope you get from it, and then I'm going to go through the workbook I'm going to go through some of it quickly, some of it in more detail, and then at the end, I'm going to have you ask any questions that you might have. Because I think there are a lot of questions and I'm happy to answer them all upfront, so that as you get into the 21 days, you're less confused. All right, more people are just joining. Hi, Marina. Hi, Shilpa.
Hi.
Do you guys have questions that you're thinking you'd like to ask? Or are you just kind of curious how I'm going to run through this? Hi, Caroline. You can feel free to just write anything in the chat so I can answer questions as we go, or you can unmute and ask questions as we go, however you'd like. But I'll go through my part, and then at the end, hopefully you guys will feel better about how this is all going to work. I think it's a little bit confusing because I do have, I have some people who have paid and are doing the VIP version, and so they're all in my app. And I'm working with them in the app. And then we have also the dressing room, which is a community for everyone to be in. And so I don't want you to feel like if you haven't paid that you won't get just as much out of this as people who have paid. If you put your effort into it and you follow what I'm going to go through tonight, and you ask questions and engage in the community, then absolutely you can see great results in these 21 days. And that is the goal for everyone. So just make sure you're asking me questions. If you know me, you know that I will always be there to answer questions. I'm with clients most of the day, but in between clients, I'm answering questions and I'm here to help. So use me for anything that you might need, whether you're in the VIP or not. Okay. Let me just admit a few more people. Okay. Okay. Can everyone hear me? There's someone not on mute. Let's make, okay, here we go. Try to put your microphone on mute unless you have a question, because then we won't hear any background noise. Let's see, I'm gonna go into the chat. Oh, Tara, just seeing your message. Yes, that's fine. I'll give you the instructions of how to upgrade to VIP.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I'm going to start. I'll admit people into the room as they come, but just so, because I know we all have busy evenings and I don't want to keep you guys too long, I'm going to get started. So if you don't know me, I know many of you, but if I don't know you and I haven't met you, it's so great to see you all here. I'd love to see your faces if you're in a place where you're able to show me, just so it's more engaging if we can see each other, but I understand if you're cooking dinner, have kids calling on you, not in a, then that's okay. But it's nice to be able to see each other's faces. So a little bit about me. I am a certified personal trainer. I am a certified nutrition coach. I have been coaching and personal training for 8 years now, post my job in corporate America in marketing. This has been my passion and my life now for 8 years that I could not love more. So I've started this business to really help women predominantly to reach their fitness goals. I've worked with, I actually added it up, almost 100 women, and I've seen so many people feel so much better in their bodies and in their skin, and feel more fit and just feel happier and more energized. And the weight loss is part of it, but to me, that's not what I'm most proud of. What I'm most proud of is the fact that I would say almost everyone that I've worked with and has seen results has actually been able to keep the weight off and have been able to reset their habits in a way where they don't gain it back. So that being said, these 21 days is not a quick fix. My program is not a quick fix. My program is a way for people to reset their habits, learn the way they should eat and the way they should move, and the way they should deal with their sleep and their stress so that they can lose weight and keep it off. And then in life, when things come up and you're on vacation for a week, or you have a bender for a weekend, you can come back and reset yourself and know what to do to get back to where you were. I haven't had any of my clients who have finished my program or have finished working with me come back 6 months later and say, oh my God, help, I gained it all back. And that to me is what makes me most proud, because there's no crash diet in this. There's no like, I can't sustain this. You can sustain this. This is a way that you can live. And so that's what I'm hoping that you can start to see in these 21 days, that it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be miserable. You will probably make changes that you're not used to. Your eyes will be really open to the fact that you're probably eating in a way that you didn't realize could be better. That doesn't mean a way that you should be eating less. It just means a way that you could be eating better. Most of my clients who come to me, or most women who come to me, are actually under eating protein, under eating fiber, under eating carbs, not moving enough. And it's really surprising to so many people when I tell them how they should eat in their day. They're like, this is so much more than I normally eat. I can't believe I should be eating this. And then all of a sudden they're feeling better, they're looking better, they have muscle, their clothes are fitting better. It's because the macros, the way that they're eating and their protein, carbs, and fat are out of line for their stage of life, for their body, for them. It's not a one size fits all at all. If I work one-on-one with you, I'm not handing you a template of what you should do. It's definitely, everyone is different. So that being said, the reason why I'm doing this challenge is because I feel like there is an opportunity for so many women to see that simple habit changes can lead to feeling better and looking better. And I don't want people to continue to feel like they have to do these drastic cuts in their diet or to be doing these crazy workouts every single day in order to reach their goals. And so I feel like it's an opportunity to show people that it's really not that hard, and just a little bit of consistency, a lot of mindfulness can show you great changes. So let me think. I am going to announce at the end of this call my first mini challenge. So this is all one big challenge. And it's not, I mean, it's a challenge. You're really challenging yourself to follow the rules. It's not like who's going to win, running the fastest, or who's going to lose the most weight in the 21 days. It's more you're challenging yourself to stick with the plan. But I have little mini challenges in here, which are more kind of like, so the first one I will announce at the end of the call. I will give away a $20 Amazon gift card to the winner of it. So nothing huge, but something, a little incentive just to kind of, do the challenge the best you can. But there is a prize at the end of the 21 days of $500. So I don't want you in this challenge for the $500. Yes, someone will win, but that shouldn't be the reason to do this. The reason to do this is to have 21 days of great habit reset, feel awesome at the end of the 21 days, feel like you have done things that you didn't think you could do, and feel like you can keep it up. So, and I have at the end of the workbook, the way that I'm giving out points, and a lot of it is just, is showing up. I want you to participate. I want you to be in that community, asking me questions, showing me that you're trying, showing me that you are, eating the way I'm recommending you eat, doing the workouts that I think you should be doing, encouraging other people, participating in the little mini challenges. All of those things will make it so that I feel like you deserve to win. And there's no trick to the $500. Not like all of a sudden I'm gonna be like, just kidding, it's, $500 worth of beads. It is actually going to be $500, but that's not why I hope that you will all be there, but it is a reason for you to stick through the 21 days. Okay, so I'm going to go through the document. First of all, does anyone have any questions about what I just said? And then I'll go through the whole workbook. Everyone has the workbook. I know it was an overwhelmingly large document to print out or look at, but hopefully you all got through it. There are things that I'll highlight in it that are most important, but if anyone has any questions up front, I am Tara, do you have the document since you've just joined? I want to make sure that you have the workbook.
I don't think I do, no, because I just I wasn't getting your email. So I'm neighbors with Tara Condon.
Yes. Yeah.
But I wasn't getting the emails, and I texted her and she said to check my junk, and it was in my junk mail.
That seems to happen to a lot of people. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, so I'm looking right now, but is the document in the dressing room or no?
It is actually. So if you go into the dressing room and
I'm in there now.
Okay, and so then just search for a topic, look for the topic that says challenge workbook. And if you go in there, you'll click a link and it will pop right up. So that's one of the
dressing room, weight loss reimagined. Sorry.
It's okay. It's one of the first posts that I made a couple days ago.
Okay. So if I'm in the dressing room, then what should I be looking for to see it? Is it?
So so there are different topics in the dressing room. Do you see like it says Zoom call tonight?
Yes. I see Zoom call tonight.
Okay, so if you scroll up, then there should be other posts.
I see Zoom in an hour, calls tonight, breakfast ? Oh, day one, is it?
Keep going.
Okay. challenge starts tomorrow. Oh, your challenge workbook. Okay.
Yeah. That's it. So then
Got
there's a link in there that you'll click.
Okay, great. I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Thank you.
No, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, so we'll start from the beginning. Let's see. There's a few more people I'm gonna admit in. Caroline, I will answer your question right now. So fruit is a carb, so it is a super healthy carb, and in life, it is something that you 100% should be eating. But for these 10 days, I do recommend limiting it as one of the carbs. Some people's bodies actually get inflamed from certain fruits. And so the purpose of these 10 days is to get rid of any inflammation and bloat that you might have. And so that's the reason to kind of start with a clean slate, make sure we have no inflammation, and start from there after the 10 days. Okay. Okay, so starting in the workbook, I've already gone through why this is not a typical challenge. Most challenges are like, let's see how much weight we can lose in as little time as possible, or it's let's see, who can lift the most weight, or that's not what this is. So I really want you to learn the basics of nutrition and fitness, and really start with some really strong habits. So it's a great kickstart to a healthy eating, healthy workout, healthy habits plan. I am going to have live trainings every Monday at 7. The trainings will be some about macros. They will be about your metabolism. They will be about, other topics that I feel like people are asking a lot of questions about. So I'm kind of leaving it open-ended at this point. But I will have a training every Monday night. I will also have Q&A sessions. If you let me know that you have questions, I will have calls at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays, which I know won't work for a lot of you who are working. So I'm also having one Wednesday at 7. So those will be Q&A call times. Please let me know if you have questions, because if no one has questions that they'd like to bring up, then I won't have the call. But I'm happy to have the calls if there are any of you that have questions that you'd like to have a face-to-face discussion about. Those are open times, Tuesday at 1, 7 on Wednesday. Okay, so a few of the food rules. I don't like when people think that any food is bad. So as I just said, fruit is not allowed in the first 10 days, or I recommend not having it, but there is no food that is bad. I just did a reel on this today. There's nothing that is off limits in my plan. Everything has a place. If you restrict yourself too much, or restrict yourself with anything, you're not going to stick with it. That's why almost every diet fails, is because you're not allowed to have things. So once I get to in this 21 days, the last 5 days, we will be looking at tracking your food, and I will be telling you how you can budget for anything that you want to have. So if you like to have a glass of wine every single night, that's fine. You can have a glass of wine, but you have to take something else out. You have to be able to fit it in to your budget of calories and macros. If you like to have dark chocolate every single day, that would be me, then that's fine. You just have to take something else out. Everything has a place. Everything fits in. Anyway, we'll get more into that, but that's a key part of my plan and this program, except for the first 10 days. I'm sorry. That is the only thing that feels like a diet, because there are a lot of restrictions. A lot of people have problems with blood sugar regulation. That means that you're going up and down in this roller coaster throughout the day. I would say 90% of people who come to me are in this roller coaster when they come to me, because they've been having a lot of simple carbs. And what happens if you have simple carbs is that you eat, and simple carbs would be like white flour or sweets or highly processed food. Your blood sugar spikes and then it crashes. And the one thing your body wants when it crashes is more of that. So then you have it again, and then you spike up, and then you come down. So that's why we get rid of these carbs for 10 days. You get off of that roller coaster. You are very, very even, having proteins and fats and veggies and fiber from veggies, and you are off the roller coaster. And you will feel that your energy will feel better. So the first few days are hard. You might feel a little bit tired because carbs do give you energy. You might have a little headache if you've been having a lot of carbs, but after the third or fourth day, you will feel better. And everyone tells me their energy improves and their sleep improves. 2 people in the waiting room. Okay, so those are the food rules that I want you to think about. We want to get off the blood sugar roller coaster, and no food is bad. Exercise rules of thumb. Hours of intense cardio. A lot of people come to me having been doing, I can't lose weight. I do all this cardio. I'm constantly on the bike. I'm constantly running. I'm walking with a weighted vest. Like, that is not what is going to help you lose weight. Your body, first of all, probably has gotten used to that. So it's not even feeling any new stresses. So it's not going to change. If your body gets used to something, it adapts to it and it won't change anymore because that's what it's been doing. You want to avoid your body adapting to anything, adapting to low calories, adapting to the same exercise. Doing different things is what will help your body to change. And also, I'm not sure how old everyone is, but FYI, as you get older, doing cardio and no weights is not going to help you anymore. You need to be lifting weights to be able to change your body. Your metabolism will speed up. The more lean muscle you have on your body, the better your metabolism will be. And the only way to build lean muscle on your body is to lift weights. And that means lifting weights, and then a few weeks later, lifting heavier weights, and then a few weeks later, lifting heavier weights. You have to progress your weights because, again, your body will adapt to the same weights and it won't continue to change. So I help you in this program to progress your workouts. For everyone who has the click-through links for the workouts, if you feel those are too easy or too hard, please let me know. I am happy to adjust them for you. I will give you different workouts. I did start them with body weight and then I progressed to lightweight. And then I want you the third week to do a heavier weight if you can. But again, I'm here to help you. If they're too hard, or too easy, if you feel like you're not being challenged at all, then I'm happy to help you with that. Also, if you feel overly exhausted, overly stressed out, overly sore, it's too much. We don't want that. You want to keep being able to do it. If you feel like the first day you're so sore for the next 4 days, that's not helping anybody. So don't push it so hard. A lot of people, when they start with a new program, go all in so much that then they're crippled for a week. And we don't want that to happen either. So start slow, start easy. I gave everyone, no matter what level you told me that you are in working out, I gave everyone a workout that should be good for them to start. Okay, so do the workouts to start and then we can progress them. But again, if you feel like they're way too easy, then let me know and I'll help you. Okay, so there are a few phases of the plan. In nutrition, we're starting with de-bloating, so the anti-inflammation 10 days, and also focus on protein. So they kind of go hand in hand. If you're not having carbs, you're having protein. So protein, super important. And don't worry about your portions. Since I'm taking out an entire food group, you're not having carbs. That means you need to replace those calories with protein. All right. So when you send me a picture and you have 1 egg sitting on your plate, actually, some people even are just having egg whites, you're going to be starving in the next hour. So there is no limit to your portions of your protein that you're having in these 10 days. You won't overdo it. If I see that you are eating, an entire pound of steak, then I'll be impressed, first of all. But I'll also say, how did you feel after that? Maybe you could cut it down a little bit, but no one is going to do that. So don't worry about your portions for the first 10 days. Just have the protein, limit the carbs. I mean, you will see, if you were actually tracking for these 10 days, you would see there are carbs. A lot of the vegetables have carbs. Dairy has carbs, but it's just, we're taking out the fruit, we're taking out the grains, the simple carbs, things like that. So the second phase in nutrition, we'll talk about portion sizes. So you'll see in your workbook that there's a whole section on portions that by using the parts of your hand. Okay, so I don't like to throw everyone into tracking food right away. It gets really overwhelming. It's really complicated. So And also, a lot of you are out and about, and you're not going to bring a scale with you to measure your food, and you're not going to have your phone to be tracking all of your food all the time. So I like for you to understand by the size of your hand and parts of your hand what a portion will look like. So a protein, 3 ounces of a protein is about the palm of your hand. Most of you will need to eat more than 3 ounces of protein, but that's a guide for what 3 ounces is. A carb is about your fist. A fat is about your thumb. So that's all in the document. That starts after the 10 days. I'll be telling you to use your hand to measure your portions. I have in the document what a portion should look like for you. But I also, when we get to that point, it's not all one size fits all again. So some of you will want 2 palms, some of you will want 1.5 palms, but I'll work with you on that as we get there. And we'll be able to do a calculation together to understand what you should be having. And then the last, so portion sizes and then healthy carbs, because we're reintroducing healthy carbs in the second phase. So that's carbs with fiber. I mean, the healthiest carbs have fiber in them. And that's how we know that it's a healthy carb. It's a complex carb. It's not just a simple carb. We'll talk about that more as we go. And then nutrition phase 3 is tracking. So that's only the last 5 days. We'll get into tracking your macros. You'll understand how to enter them into MyFitnessPal, or for the VIPs, you'll be putting it right into the app. But MyFitnessPal is fantastic. It's an app that I have used with many, many, many clients, and I will help all of you to understand the easiest and best ways to track your food. And also help you understand what your goals should be for your macros, which are fat, carbs, and protein. Okay, so then for fitness, we're starting with steps. So there's this whole big thing in the world about taking steps. And that's because the new smoking is sitting. So we want people to be moving. And the easiest way to tell people to move is to say, take steps. Now, you don't have to take steps. You could be gardening. You could be dancing. You could be vacuuming. Whatever it is, so you're not sitting. All right. So I like to tell people to take steps, but I have a lot of clients who spend hours in their garden, pulling weeds, walking around their entire yard, planting flowers. That's also movement that counts just like steps would count. And if you're taking steps, that doesn't mean hardcore pounding the pavement, out of breath, working out. It means walk. Just get your steps in. Don't sit down. If you have a chance after a meal to go for a walk, get your steps in like that. I'm hoping that many of you have some way of tracking your steps. If you don't have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, your phone tracks steps. If you carry your phone with you in the health app that every iPhone has, it tracks your steps. So that's a good way of just having, and it's not perfect at all. Like none of these trackers are perfect, but you're looking at, consistency, and you're looking at just improving your steps day over day. So it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. If anyone doesn't have a way of tracking their steps, let me know, and I will help you figure out a way to be able to note about how many steps you're taking. And then the second part of fitness after steps and body weight workouts would be steps and resistance training. So the workouts that are in the workbook do progress that way. If you The click-through videos are good for your phone or your computer. If you feel like you can't have a phone or a computer wherever you're working out, then I did give you circuits that you can there are pictures of what you can do and do those circuits 5 times around. If you have paid for this challenge, then I'm giving you workouts in your week that you will see in the app. Okay, and then moving on to habits. Habits are just as important as fitness and nutrition. You having good, strong sleep, stress, hydration, wellness habits will help you reach your goals. The more stressed you are, the less sleep you get, the less you drink water, the harder it will be for you to reach your goals. I'm going to do one training on cortisol because that's also another, really trendy word to be using. Like, oh my gosh, my cortisol, like I can't lose weight because of my cortisol. So our bodies actually need cortisol. It's part of us that we need. When we wake up in the morning is when our cortisol should be the highest. Our cortisol spikes an hour before we wake up. So when we wake up, we have energy and we're, in an alert state. The problem is when we have chronic elevated cortisol, because then our body thinks it's always under stress, and all of our energy, our body's energy is going to reducing stress instead of losing fat, like doing all the healthy things it should be doing. So we want to find ways to reduce stress. Taking walks, meditating, journaling. I help a lot of my clients figure out ways and times in their day to reduce stress so that our bodies can focus on the things that you want it to be focusing on instead of calming itself down. Hydration also is a key habit. You need to be drinking water, half your body weight in ounces of water. It's beneficial for a lot of reasons. So I have put that calculation in the workbook. Make sure you are focusing on getting that water in. If you hate drinking water, you can add a little bit of electrolyte to it. You can add a little bit of flavored seltzer to it. Tea actually does count in your water count. So if you like to drink tea, you can drink tea. But start your day with a big glass of water, even before you have coffee. That's a great way to get 20 ounces of water in right off the bat. And you will feel energized by doing that. I like to put a little bit of lemon. People put some Himalayan sea salt in it, whatever will get you to drink that water. And if you feel like right now you're only drinking 20 in your day, then let's just start baby steps. Okay. So let's improve by a glass every day. You don't have to all of a sudden be drinking from 20 to 80 ounces of water, because then you'll just be in the bathroom all day. And that's also not so pleasant. So let me know if you have any issues with the water, and I will give you some tips on how to increase your water intake. Okay. That's my thing. All right. So the next habit after hydration and having a good mindset is sleep and stress reduction, which we just talked about. And then we'll talk about meal prepping. I do not promote meal prepping on Sunday. Spend the day in your kitchen with your plastic boxes and put your chicken and your veggies and your carb in each box and that's a lot. I think it's great for people who can do that. I am more of the camp that you should be planning your food. So on Sunday, know what your week of proteins are going to be. Go to the grocery store, buy a fish, a chicken, a beef, have it in your fridge. Have any snack foods that you love and are healthy in your house, so that when you are at crunch time and it's 4 o'clock and oh my God, the kids are needing to be here and there and I'm starving and it's not dinner time yet, you can open your fridge and right there are the things that you love to have. I always have carrots, cucumbers, celery, pita chips, hummus. I have everything but the bagel seasoning that I like to put on the veggies. And it's like having, a salty treat as I'm cooking dinner. I know there are a few people on here rolling their eyes like, oh, she has cucumber and carrots and celery as a snack. But actually, it's delicious. And it just keeps the cravings away as you're cooking dinner or before dinner. So you just make sure you are prepared. Whether it's prepped is one thing, but make sure you're prepared with food that you like. And we will talk more about that. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole mindset about the higher self and the lower self. I'm just going to say that what I like to tell people is when they start a weight loss program or a fat loss or a fitness program, from day one, start acting like the person you want to be. Okay, start from day one saying, I am going to act like that thinner version of myself or that fitter version of myself today. What would that person do first thing in the morning? Probably they would get up in the morning, they would have a big glass of water, they would stretch a little bit, maybe they'd get outside for 5 minutes just to breathe in the fresh air. They would plan their day, they would put in their calendar when they were going to work out. That's what a healthy, fit person probably would do. They would know what their snacks are going to be. They're going to know what their dinner is. So just start from day one, acting like that person. I've done this in my business, I try to act like that billionaire CEO. What would that person do in the morning? Well, they'd probably, plan their day and they'd strategize and they'd whatever. But I mean, if you act like that person, then the chances are you'll start becoming that person. I'm not there yet, but working on it. So that's my, being your higher self is is acting like the person who you want to be. Sorry about my dog. So I'm not gonna, so I mean, I think that if you write down who that person is and you write down who you want to be, it really does help. And you can remind yourself of that through these 21 days. When things get hard, you can look back at that list and say, I can be this person at least for 21 days. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. So the workouts are in there. Hopefully you all saw the workouts. If you have any issue with clicking them, and getting to the workouts themselves, let me know. And let's see, so that's all the workouts. Then there are the circuits in there in case you don't want to use your phone, to look at a video. And, okay. We're gonna get now to nutrition itself. First, I'm gonna look and see if there are any questions in the chat here that I can answer. Oops. Okay, Pam, so you will add your food photos to the app. Just where you send me messages, is where you would put your pictures. Okay, so pretend you're sending me a message and upload a picture, right there in the message. Does that answer your question? Yes, I don't see you.
Sorry, yes,
yeah.
so, all right, so I guess I just keep getting confused between the app and the dressing room.
Okay, so let me just clarify this. This is confusing.
Mhm.
So because I have some of you who are, who have paid and are, getting more one-on-one coaching, I have you in the app that I use for my program. And so that app, is where I put everything that you're doing and you can message me. The dressing room is for the entire challenge, and everyone who's in the challenge should be talking to me in there, noting what the, if there's homework or, today you posted what your breakfast was,
Mm,
that's there. But Pam, most of what you will need will be
Okay.
in the app. Okay, and if you want to
Okay.
communicate with me, you can communicate with me there.
I got you.
But
Okay.
check in the dressing room because that's where I have new announcements and new things.
Right.
So it's have both of those handy. But I'm sorry that it's complicated. There are two places to be looking.
No, that's okay. I think I sent my photos to like the whole group in the
Which is also
dressing
fine,
room.
which is great because that's where the majority of people are sending their pictures. And I would actually
Okay.
like it if everyone was putting their pictures there because then we all see from each other what we're having. We get good ideas, like
Mm-hmm.
I love to see what other people are having for meals. And so if everyone posted it in there, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Joanna, what should our step goal be? Okay. So do you know what your steps are now? You do?
It depends on the day.
Okay. So I tell people, if walking is the only thing you're doing in your day and you're not doing a workout that day, then try to get 10,000 steps. If you are doing a workout, then you're not going to be able to get that much. If you work full time and you're behind a desk and you're not going to get 10,000 steps a day, that would be really hard to be able to walk 4.5 or whatever miles. So I'm very cognizant of that. So I tell people just walk as much as you can, move more than just move as much as you can. I think I want you growing through the 3 weeks. So if you started 1 week at 5,000, the next week I want you at 7,000, try it. But I mean, every day is different. Every person is different. So it's very hard to give a blanket statement of what your goal should be. Sit less, move more, park further away from the store that you're walking into. Take the stairs when you can. Stand while you're talking on the phone, walking back and forth. There are easy ways to just kind of move more. And that's the goal. It's not as much about the steps. It's about just moving as much as you can. Does that help? Okay. All right. So let's get into the 10-day plan. I think you all kind of understand at this point what it looks like, but there have been a lot of questions. So for these 10 days to have the best chance at getting rid of any inflammation that you might have as you start this, I tell people not to have any simple carbs and not to have fruit. So simple carbs would be breads, any breads, crackers, oatmeal, cereal, and then just rice, pasta, the typical carbs. It also includes fruit, and then it also includes beans. So many people think that beans are a protein, and it's true. Beans have protein, but beans are a carb. A lot of foods have more than one macro. So it will be a protein and a carb, or a carb and a fat, or I mean, so, but you look at what it's more of, and beans are more of a carb than a protein. So, and again, as I've told a few people today, you're not gonna lose any ground by having a banana tomorrow. It's fine. It's really, if you're like, I just don't know what else to have, I need to have some blueberries, or that's okay. But you know, for 10 days, just do the best you can. If you want to have the best shot at getting rid of all that inflammation, then just do the best you can. It's not going to be perfect, and that's totally fine. If you have a birthday celebration and you want to have a glass of wine, have the glass of wine. I would so much rather you have the glass of wine or have the banana than to quit. So if you're going to quit because you can't do it, then don't do that. Have whatever it is that you're wanting to have. But just do the best you can. So yeah, so those are the foods that you should not have for those 10 days. And then I've made the list of all the recommended proteins and veggies and fats that I think you should have. In my program, I don't do a lot of, here are the meals that you should have every day of the week. Because again, as I've said, what I pride myself on is having you be able to do this without me. And in the long run, you need to be able to think of meals and foods that you can have without me telling you what to eat. That being said, if you're like, I'm running out of ideas, I don't know what else to have for breakfast without being able to have, do you have any ideas? I have a bazillion ideas. So just ask me, I'll send you some recipes. I'll send you some, some ideas of what other people have had. I'll tell you what I have. So, I mean, I'm happy to help you and give you ideas as you need. Just post it in the group. Other people are probably wanting to know it too. So if you post it in the group, then everyone's gonna be like, oh, thank God she asked, because I also don't have any idea what else to eat. So I'll let you know. But I do want you starting to think in these categories of foods, proteins, veggies, and fats, what can I put together to have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks? Okay. That being also on that note, with snacks, snacks are allowed. I like for people to have snacks. Some people do better having 3 big meals, but when we get to tracking and when we get to how much protein you should be having in your day, it's going to be really hard for most of you to hit your numbers without having snacks. You're going to have to eat a tremendous amount of protein at each one of your meals, to hit your number. So I do suggest having some snacks in there too. Okay, I also put a grocery list in there that I think is helpful. Those are things that I think are important to have stocked in your house. And so any questions on the first 10 days, you can come off mute or you can put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer anything about these first 10 days. Yes, no? Yeah, Nicole. Are you asking a question, Nicole?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always need something sweet at some point during the day. So what is something that would be,
Okay, here are
that
my
we should
little
be going for?
My
Yes.
sweet hack during the 10 days is hard because fruit is a go-to sweet treat when you can have fruit. So I'm going to tell you that it's okay to have some honey. So put some honey on your Greek yogurt or on your cottage cheese, or have a nice hot cup of tea with some honey. Another little hack is fat-free whipped cream. So there's almost, unless you're having like, spraying it in your mouth, like cups at a time. If you just put a little bit on your coffee or put a little bit, on, I don't know what else you put cream on, maybe a spoon, and just like have a bite of whipped cream. I know that's gross, and I'm a nutrition coach telling you to do that, but that's okay. I get sweet cravings too. What I also can say is that the more protein you have, the less you will be craving sweets. So try to bump up so you're not actually hungry. If your blood sugar is even, then you won't have those cravings for sweet as much.
Okay.
So, but I know you are. I mean, Nicole, you eat great. So if you are having a craving, those are the two things that I think are a good hack for the 10 days.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Christine, how about almond milk measurement allowed? Yes, you can have almond milk in the first 10 days, 100%. Yes. You can have any kind of milk in the first 10 days.
Okay, even the unsweetened vanilla, is that okay?
That's okay. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. I mean,
All
to
right.
put in your coffee or to have cups at a time?
well, sometimes I will do like a cappuccino.
That's fine.
um,
So you'll have
or-
the almond,
Or
it's
in my shake, I usually try to split it up with water with my protein powder. I do the Truvani. I saw that you said no more than 8 grams of carbs in, there is stevia in the Truvani, but it's
Yeah.
pretty,
yeah,
it's
that's
pretty
fine.
full.
I definitely allow dairy and almond milk in your smoothie and in your coffee. Yes.
Okay. With that said, the dairy, what about full fat dairy?
Um,
Should it all be low fat?
so if you're having it in your coffee, I'm fine with you having 2 tablespoons of full fat cream in your coffee. Other than that, like if you're having a cup of milk or you're putting it in your smoothie, it's much smarter to use skim or no fat or low fat. It's a really easy way to save calories. And in the end, you'll want to use those calories for other foods. It
Yeah.
doesn't change the taste that much. So
I was referring to cheese really more than anything for
Cheese.
protein.
yes, so definitely I recommend having no fat or low fat cheese, like cottage
Okay.
cheese and yogurt. Yes, I don't, and like part skim mozzarella. Use the lowest fat cheese that you can. It's just an easier way to save on calories.
I usually avoid it altogether just
Cheese?
because, yeah.
Okay, cheese
Is
is
there
okay.
is there, I was just gonna say, are the odds better if you just stay away from it and do
So
the
no, again,
fish?
cheese also has protein in it. So if you add a handful of shredded cheese to your omelet, you're adding protein, you're adding flavor, and you'll see when you start tracking that that's okay. You're in the end, if you need to be cutting back on calories, we will discuss easy ways to do that. There are other ways usually that people can cut back on calories than that. It's usually they're having, instead of a serving of almonds, people are having, 30 almonds or 20 almonds, and they're having too many of things that add up the calories too quickly. Having a sprinkle of cheese that also adds protein is not what you need to cut back on. And having pizza, it's not the cheese that's making that have a lot of calories, so there aren't very many instances that I tell people to cut out cheese. Having a string cheese is an excellent snack. It's 8 grams of protein, it's 90 calories, it's a great snack. So I actually have a handout that I can post if anyone's interested on all of the cheeses and how healthy they are for you. So how many grams of protein they have, how many calories they have. Some proteins are definitely healthier. I mean, some cheeses are definitely healthier than others. The softer cheeses like brie have a lot more calories than Parmesan cheese. That is a hard cheese, which also is high in protein. So if you're interested, I can put that in our community so you can all see that.
Could I tack on one more question?
Of course.
What about your preference of whole food over packaged, say, like you mentioned, the cheese stick? Now, some fresh cheese, doesn't come in low fat, right?
Right,
So
right.
it's just as an example, but
Right.
what is your take on the
My take-
benefit of eating the whole food versus the packaged?
Whole food is 99% of the time going to be better. If you can have whole non-processed food, you will be much healthier. But again, if you're choosing between whole, I'm trying to think, so like a cheese from the cheese shop, versus a polio string cheese, you know, it's just a snack that you're having. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with having the polio string cheese, you know, but if you're having a rotisserie chicken from the store versus a chicken that you have made yourself that's organic, and you know, then those kinds of things, I do think that having whole foods are more beneficial than any packaged processed food. Okay.
Thanks.
It's kind of a case by case basis too, you know, so if you have questions like this or that, I'm happy to help you like
Okay.
that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on the 10 days? Or we'll move on quickly to the portions. All right, so after the 10 days, you will be so excited to be able to reintroduce your carbs. And there's a list in your guide of the foods that you can have after those 10 days. So the healthy carbs are in there. They're all complex carbs, except for dark chocolate. I added that in there because I think so many people are very excited to be able to see that on their list. So that's in there. Sweet potatoes, beans, brown rice pasta. You can have regular pasta too, but brown rice pasta is a healthier version of pasta. Rice, you can have white or brown. I actually like white rice, so there's nothing wrong with white rice. Berries, oats, corn, granola. My favorite breads that I recommend are sourdough, whole grain, rye. Try to stay away from white bread. It just doesn't have a lot of benefit. It doesn't have a ton of fiber. And then sweets you can have, and again, if you want some recommendations for some delicious treats to have after the 10 days, I have so many that I have found that I love for dessert, that won't add a ton of calories or, fat to your daily intake. I mean, there's so many now. If you went to Whole Foods, there's a whole section of just the healthiest desserts. It's great. So again, I can send you ideas if you'd like them, if you have a sweet tooth. And then fats. So this is where a lot of people actually run into trouble with fats. I should have talked about this in the 10 days. There are some really healthy fats, but too much of any of those healthy fats is a problem. So yes, avocado is a super healthy fat. There is nothing wrong with avocado. But if you put an entire avocado in your salad, you are adding like 500 calories to your salad. And that's not necessary. Take a quarter of the avocado, slice it into tiny little pieces, put it in your salad. You won't miss the other half of the avocado. If you're having avocado toast, again, you don't need to use the whole avocado. You can use half of it. It adds a lot of calories. So they are good calories. There's nothing wrong with them. But if you're trying to lose weight and build muscle, you want to try to be in a deficit of calories, and that's not a way to do that. Same with olive oil. Use it sparingly. It's really healthy, but you don't need to pour, even when you make eggs, you don't need to pour a whole 3 tablespoons of oil in your pan. I just spray my pan with olive oil. So use it in cooking as you need, but don't use it like it's, oh, this is a healthy fat. I can use as much as I want. It adds a lot of calories to your meals and it sneaks up on you. So just try to limit it where you can. And that's the case. So the reason why fat adds a lot of calories is because per gram, it has more calories. So whereas a protein, 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. 1 gram of carbs has 4 calories. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So it's twice as much calories per gram of a fat than your other foods. So it adds up quicker. Does that make sense? So you just want to make sure you're limiting it.
Appreciate it.
And then another fat that people get confused by is cream cheese. So it is a cheese. It has 0 protein. I don't know what they have done to the cheese of the cream cheese, but they've taken out all of the protein and it's just fat. So I had one client who was like, I was having cream cheese on this and cream cheese on that because I'm having my protein. I was like, there's no protein in that. So it's delicious. It's fine to have a thin layer of it, as a treat. It's the same as butter. It doesn't do anything more for you than butter does. And also butter is not a protein. I had another client who thought butter was a protein. It's just a fat. So I prefer it over margarine, 100%. Use real butter. but it's not a protein. Peanut butter, it's got protein in it, but watch your portion. Okay. It adds up very quickly. Having it spoonful adds up really, really fast. So if you're putting peanut butter in a shake, that's fantastic. If you're having peanut butter on an apple, that's after the 10 days we're talking about, that's fantastic. But just watch how much you're having. It's really helpful to have those little spoons handy so you can see how much you're actually having. Because you take a big spoon from your drawer and you say, this is a tablespoon, probably it's a lot more. So just, and you don't have to do that forever, but a few times, just measure it out. You'll see what it looks like. And you'll be like, okay, now I visually know what a serving of peanut butter looks like. So again, just some easy ways to limit things that add up in calories really quickly. Salad dressing, also make sure that you're watching your portion, measure it out, put it on your salad. Don't just dump it. That adds calories where you don't need them. So that's what's that? Someone say something? Oh, okay. That is the food list for the second part of the challenge. And we talked about you're going to be using your hand. That's your guide for the days like 11 through 21. So like a week, you're going to be using your hand to measure. Oh, sorry. No, those are the foods for days 11 through 21. You're going to be using your hand for about a week after you finish your 10 days. And then we're going to start tracking macros. And you're going to download MyFitnessPal. I don't know if any of you have ever used it. It's a little bit daunting when you first start tracking for the first time, but it actually has improved so much over the time that I've been having my clients use it. You just start typing a food, and first of all, you can use the QR. You can scan your food with it. So you could scan a QR code and it just pops right up. So if you're having a packaged food and it's got a QR code or it has a barcode on it, then you can just scan the barcode and it pops up in the app as what you're having. And then you just make sure that the serving size is what you want it to be. But if it doesn't have if it's not something scannable, then you just start typing the food into, you hit the plus sign, add a food, you start typing it in, and then it pops up. So if you start typing egg, it'll say fried egg, scrambled egg, plain egg, whole egg, large egg. And then you just choose what it is. The most important part about tracking, which we'll get to as we get closer to this, is to make sure your serving size is accurate. So you will want, if you want to be super accurate, you will want to weigh or measure your food. Again, this is not something that you'll be doing forever, but it is a really good way of understanding what your portion size should be. I tested myself the other day. I was making myself a cup of tea that I always put honey in. And I always just kind of squeeze the honey, squeeze. And I was like, I wonder how much honey I'm actually having. And I was shocked to see that I was having like 3 tablespoons of honey in my tea. Not necessary. I mean, it was tasting good, but until I took out the spoon and I squeezed it into the spoon and saw what a tablespoon was, I wouldn't have known. Now I can decide whether I still want to have 3 tablespoons or not, but it was good to be aware. I always say you can't manage what you don't measure. There's no way to manage what you're having unless you're measuring it. You're just blindly guessing. And a lot of people are like, I know, I don't have that much, or I know how much I'm having, but unless you're measuring it, there's no way to know. Unless you put the slices of turkey on your scale, you won't know how many ounces you're having. And you will be actually really surprised how over or under you are. When I tell people they should have 4 ounces of turkey, they can't get over how much turkey that is. It's so much more than they were having. So measure it. You'll be probably pleasantly surprised about how much you can have. So that's the tracking, which we will do towards the end. And you will be asking me any questions you have throughout that time. If you're confused and are having a hard time, I've done this with lots of people and I can give you easy ways of doing it. MyFitnessPal also lets you put recipes in there. So if you make a recipe, you upload it and then you can do it. You can use it again. You don't have to do it. And I happen to eat pretty much the same thing for breakfast every day. So it's so easy for me because I just do the same thing as yesterday and it lets you repeat. So it's not as complicated as some people think. Okay. I put in some proteins with how many grams of protein are in them. So it's just a really good guide to use. And now we'll just quickly talk about habits. I want you this week to be focusing on water. Okay, so I want you drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. Unless you are up until this point have not been drinking water at all and it's really hard for you, then we'll start slower and we'll start lower than that. But that's your goal. You will feel great. You will feel a difference. It keeps you satisfied, energized. It's good for your metabolism. It's good for your brain. It's good for your energy. Drink the water. Okay. So ask me if you need some tips on how to get more water in. I love that Joanna's chugging down her water right now. Okay, so that's the first week. I want you focusing on water. And then next week we're gonna talk about sleep and stress. So again, as we get towards perimenopause and menopause, sleep does become an issue. There are a lot of ways to help with sleep. They don't work for everyone, but having good sleep hygiene before you go to bed is a really good way of getting a better night's sleep. So shut down a little bit earlier, turn the lights down a little bit earlier, have blackout shades, wind down, reduce your stress before you go to sleep, take a bath, journal, have those good habits before you start winding down. It should help your sleep. Tons of supplements out there. I don't recommend, I'm not someone, I feel like it's out of my scope of work to recommend supplements. But I can give you what has worked for other people, if there are things that you want to try. So, they're all on the market now. There are so many sleep aids and over-the-counter gummies and all that stuff. So, if you feel like those help you, then that's great. If you haven't tried them, then, you can read into them and see. But I like the more simple meditation, listening to a book on tape, making sure you're not drinking water right before you go to sleep, because that's going to wake you up in the middle of the night. So wind down your water intake a couple hours before bed. Those kinds of things. And then stress, also trying to reduce stress. So we'll be talking more about that. But if you feel like you live a very high stress life, find those 10 minutes a day that are just for you, that you can focus on reducing your stress. A walk is my best way of reducing stress, but everyone has different ways that they choose to try to reduce their stress. But it's very, very important in this journey of trying to lose weight to be less stressed. And I put a habit tracker in the workbook. So I have the habits that I'd like you focusing on. And then if you have other habits that you'd like to focus on, add those also. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I just said a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions? I just have a time of night that you should be finished eating, like by 8 o'clock, or is there time you kind of leave the kitchen like and you're done? So I don't believe, I think it's a myth that you shouldn't eat after 6 o'clock. Right. I don't think you should eat right before you go to sleep. I don't think that's good for your digestion. And also you're not moving at all. So you're not allowing it to absorb into your body the way it should. So it just depends on when you go to sleep. I tell people to stop eating an hour before they go to sleep. I mean, they shouldn't have, some foods actually help with sleep. It has been found that having protein before you go to sleep actually helps with your sleep. So I sometimes, if I feel like I haven't gotten enough protein into my day, I'll have a protein shake an hour before I go to sleep, just to get the protein in. Your body uses protein while you sleep. That's when your muscles actually build. If you think about babies, when you had babies, you were told they grow while they sleep. And that's the same with our muscles. So having protein before you go to sleep is not a bad thing, but not right before you go to sleep. Got it. Okay. What if you don't get all of the water in? Is there a way to record the amount I'm drinking? So, I missed it. Hold on. Is there a way to record the amount I'm drinking so I can track my progress? Also, is there a way to link Health app to steps? Pam, do you have an Apple Watch?
Sorry, I couldn't get me unmuted.
That's okay.
I do not have a watch. I don't like to wear wearables, but
That's
so,
fine. Your app should, though, your phone should track your steps into the health app.
right. It
Yeah.
is, but then it's not going into the steps in that your app. And then when I go to the steps, it says no data added yet, but I can't figure out how to get it in there,
Yeah,
even though I went to
it's not,
settings.
let me look and see if I can figure out how to do that. That would be
Okay.
new in the app if it actually does that. It connects an Apple Watch and a Fitbit, but I'm not sure if it connects an iPhone.
Oh, okay. All
Okay, so
right.
I'll
So,
let you know. And if not, you will just you can just
okay.
message me how many steps you get in your day.
Okay, all
This
right.
is
And
fine.
then I guess for the water, it's the same. So it's like when you say get your steps in, it's like, well, I've gotten steps in, but then I'm tracking it elsewhere in the health app of like the progress I'm making, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. And then the water, I'm just curious because what I've done just to help me is I've like filled up 3 large mason jars of like 24 ounces each.
Yeah.
And so I've only drank one of like I felt like I was doing good and I really only drank one today, which is embarrassing, but that's where I'm at and that's where I
Yeah.
start.
Shouldn't be
So-
embarrassing.
So I guess I'll just track that somewhere because I don't know where to record that.
Right, you just have to just note it to yourself,
Yeah,
just,
okay,
there's, I mean, and
got
then at the end, you just check it off that you have drank that amount of water, or
Okay.
don't check it off if you haven't, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah,
If 40
okay.
days have gone by and you haven't checked it, then I'll see.
Okay,
We can talk
Yep.
about it.
okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anybody else? Does everyone feel good about this? Confused, overwhelmed, excited? What are we thinking? Give me a thumbs up if we're feeling good. Okay, good. All right, so the challenge for the next 3 days is about steps. Okay, so I want you all, if you're able, to record how many steps you're taking tomorrow. And then the next day, I want you to record, and I want to sit. So the winner is the person who has increased their steps the most between tomorrow and Friday. Okay, so I don't want to say who gets the most steps because our lives are all very different. And so it's just not fair to have someone who works full time and sits behind a desk compete with someone who's able to walk their entire day. So record your steps for tomorrow, record your steps on the next Tuesday, Wednesday, actually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are the 3 days that I want you taking your steps. And whoever has increased their steps the most between Tuesday and Thursday is the winner. And I'll announce it on Friday. So I'm going to, you can either send me a picture of your watch or your cell phone, or I can just trust that you're not going to lie to me. But send me how many steps you take tomorrow. Send me how many steps you take, or post in the community how many steps you take tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay. If you feel like you need to send me a picture just to hold yourself accountable, then that's great. But if not, then just put the number that you're taking, and then whoever gets the most is going to be the winner. Okay? Does that make sense? Does that sound fair? All right. I'm excited to be doing this. I hope you all will stay engaged and we'll ask lots of questions. And, now we're all friends, right? Because we're all here in the room together. And so we don't have to be embarrassed about asking any questions or posting anything. And I'll be in there asking questions and, making sure that you're all doing okay. All right. So thank you.
I had one quick question. Our protein were our goals, our daily goals. Are you tracking that since we're not tracking our macros this week to know if we've hit our goal for the day?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. That's so, we're not talking about numbers yet. We're just talking about not eating not eating the carbs this week and eating as much protein as you can. For people who haven't done this before, it's really overwhelming to think about numbers. People don't even, when I say 120 grams of protein, people are like, well, I don't even know what that means. So we're not there yet.
Okay. So my to-do list for today, I can ignore that.
Well, you can, because you know what you're doing. You can keep doing
Okay.
it.
right,
You can
thanks.
ignore it if you want, but since you've been doing this for a while, you can also aim for that.
Got it.
That make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else?
I just have a quick question. If we can't make the calls I usually can't make a call at 7 on Monday. Is that okay? We can't make the train,
Absolutely. It's totally
Yeah.
fine. Thank you for letting me know. And I'm recording all
Oh,
of these
great.
calls. So I'm going to be posting them and sending them out. So if you miss a
Okay.
call, then that's okay.
Yeah,
But if
good.
you
I
have
like
questions
information.
if you have any questions, then make sure you're asking it at a different time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As far as steps, that can include elliptical, walking, outside, treadmill, what,
So
Does it have-
steps are walking.
that's it. Okay,
You can do the elliptical too. That's fair. The elliptical works for that too. Yeah, as long as
Okay.
it's not like that's not your workout. Right? This is like just moving more calmly. It's not like a hard,
Oh, I see.
hard workout.
Okay.
So I want you
Okay.
moving more outside of your workout. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? Yeah.
Hence the not sitting, like you said
Right.
before.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right.
Okay. All
Because
right.
I won't have people counting their steps like during their workout either, like whatever their workout is, that's not steps. So steps is like their just throughout the day, walk steps.
Daily activity.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Becca, thank you. This is
You're
amazing.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to see
You're
you
so
here.
knowledgeable and passionate about this. It rubs
Well, I
off.
do. I am passionate and I do love it. And I just want to help
You
you
can
guys.
tell.
So whatever I can do to help you to feel really good after these 3 weeks is my goal. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Good
I'll see you
night.
guys later.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank
Good
you.
night.
Thanks.